Hey everyone, it's Adam. In this review, we're going to review the PXC 552s from Sennheiser. First off, I gotta say, I wish more headsets came with, more headphones that is, came with this kind of design. It was the most attractive thing for me in wanting to review these. And so to get just right into it, I did pay $279 for these because they're on sale. I honestly wasn't intrigued to buy them for $350 just because of what else is out there. But let's see if these are even worth it at $279. I'm going to get straight into it by talking about the design and the comfortability first. Design wise, my. That's a mean looking design in my opinion. It looks like something from a rival or from a spaceship. I know that sounds funny because they have that egg-shaped design. But for me, just when it comes to the design, I'm thinking, why don't more headphones, like seriously, why don't more headphones come out with designs like this that are unique but very modern, has a matte feel to it. It just, I mean, this isn't, stainless steel or anything, but it's more than worthwhile to just make you feel like you bought something really premium. When it comes to working out in them, wearing them in the sun, or just wearing them for a long duration of time, the biggest issue I noticed right off the bat, and the longest I've had them on, was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours before I was like, okay, I need a break. That's usually about how long things can last for me before I get tired of it. Except for the Bose QC35-2s, those are the only headphones I wore for 4 hours straight and didn't even notice. But this headband right here, it's just one of those things that pinches way too much on my head, and I think it has to do with how solid it feels. It's just not as soft as the competition or other headsets. Other than that, as far as my ears getting sweaty with the earpieces right here, they did not get sweaty easy, they did not get hot easy, and thanks to the way, and Bose is the only other company I've seen do this so far. I haven't tried every headphone out there, but I like how the ear cup actually curves in like that. So I think that helps, besides their, design of the eggshell or the egg, upside down egg. And to measure this, just in case you're wondering, it's about, about probably 3.5 inside, but just on the outside of the ear cup, it's about 2.5 in length. So I think, besides the headband right here pinching at the top of my head, within the hour is really annoying, but that's the only thing I would say they needed to fix as far as how comfortable these are and how they feel with the design. Now let's get into the functionality of the touch controls. When it comes to the touch controls, I'm very impressed. This is one of my favorite things about this headset, on how easy it is to use. So I'll show a picture of the controls on the side here. But just to quickly go through, my favorite thing about the touch controls is, one, how accurate it is, and then how it is probably the most flawless headset I've used when it comes to touch controls. And play, pause, tap once. When it comes to awareness and ambient mode, you tap it twice while something is playing, or even when it's off. And I'm telling you, I've tried messing with it, try to see if I can get it to mess up. And the only time I've ever seen it mess up when I'm playing music or playing a video is on YouTube. So specifically, if you're playing something in the background, or even if you are watching something, if you do that for ambient aware, it shuts everything off. You can't play anything while you access ambient aware mode, unless, in my experience, you turn on ambient aware by double tapping, and then you go back manually on your phone or on your computer and hit play. Then it plays while ambient aware mode is on. That's the only thing I did notice about how to get both going. It wasn't perfect, but I think I was actually just kind of hacking the system, if you will, on how these work. But also, you have your skip and previous tracks, you have your volume up, volume down. But another thing I wish more headsets did is, if you go to the right or go to the back for previous and forward, if you hold it, it's going to either rewind a track or just skip forward. And I think it's really impressive how these headsets are actually able to do that. It's a little tricky, but you just got to remember that if you press from the center, just really hold it. Don't go off or anything, or you're going to skip, but just press down and hold, and you'll be fine. There's no latency with video quality that I've experienced, and it didn't matter if it was, I tried Vimeo, YouTube, things that you could just download on your phone, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and I think that's all the ones I did try. Now if we get into the controls, the thing that is interesting about this is only the right ear cup is the one that will turn it on and off, as you see indicated right here. It's not both of them, it's just the right one. So it sounds kind of funny, but if you wanted to turn it off, all you'd have to even do is that. You wouldn't have to turn both of them. Not that it's that big of a deal. But then you have your Bluetooth power on and off. That doesn't turn off the headset, that just turns on or off the Bluetooth capability. And if you come down here, yes, you got a headphone jack 2.5 to 3.5, if I remember right. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But micro USB, which I wish it was USB-C, only because of faster charging and more of a future-proof feature it would have been. Not that I really care, I'm not romantic about USB-C on a nerd side, but still. Then you have your voice assistant button, you have your active noise canceling on, adaptive, and it off. Again, this does not turn off the headset, only twisting this does. And then besides that, you have your controls over here, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's very, very just simple and intuitive on how they designed it. Now let's take a look at the box of some of the features of this headset real quick as far as how strong the connection is. Bluetooth 5.0, Qualcomm aptX low latency. And if you come to the back over here, this is something I'm going to get into right now, and that comes into the mic test. But before that, when it comes to up to 30 hours of battery life for lasting listening enjoyment, the fine print is actually 30 hours with ANC off, 20 hours with ANC on, but I still did get about just shy of 20 hours with ANC on, and definitely did actually get 30 hours pretty much right on the dot with ANC off, just so you know as far as the battery goes. But with superior sound quality and speech optimized calls, let's get into a mic test right now. Alright guys, test of the Sennheiser PXC 552s. This is just in a quiet environment. So now I got some ambient noise playing in the background, and because side tone is not that strong, I absolutely feel like I have to talk way louder than I should. But, you know, this is just pretending that we're in a coffee shop. Alright, so for this little microphone, it's actually pretty impressive. Now, the thing that I did notice is when I turn ANC on, that's actually where I feel like the side tone feature where you can hear yourself talking is at its best. If it's off, I feel like I'm just speaking a little bit louder than I have to. Now, the area where I live in is almost about 900 square feet, and I had no issues going in and out of the bathroom. You know, if I was cooking and left my phone in the bedroom, if I'm in the bedroom, or just trying to see if there's any issues between walls or anything, I mean, absolutely didn't have any issues. The connection was strong the entire time. Now, when it comes to the ANC, the biggest complaint I would say I have, and it's funny how I went into a complaint right away, is that the Bose QC35-2 still outperform these, given that those are a few years older. And so other than that, I mean, they're almost on par with the Bose QC35-2s to where they're going to cancel out most of your environment, especially those lower level frequencies. High pitch is always going to be a struggle, at least if it's going to be silverware chimes, you know, glasses, just dogs barking, things like that, depending on the dog you got. But as far as like a TV show being on in the background, or a conversation, cars driving by, you know, things like that, you're going to be just fine. And even when walking around outside and the wind coming in, you know, when I had ANC on just to see how sensitive the mics are, they actually didn't, you know, get desensitized to, if that's the right way to put it, to the mics trying to block out ambient noise. So it was good enough to where I felt confident that I wasn't going to get bothered, because the best way I can put it is these have just a tad bit better noise canceling than the 450 BTs, and those, retail anyway, are $150 less than these. So I mean, they tried doing a good job, but they did just good enough to where if these were less than $300, I'd be fine with it. So when it comes to the music quality, the first thing I would say is Sennheiser definitely put their sound signature into these. The same sound signature I was impressed with the 450 BTs, where I was like, wow, this sounds way different than any other pair of headphones I've gotten. So as far as sound quality, the lows are great. There's enough bass for you to really jam out to hip hop and things like that. And when it comes to the highs and the mids, they're not really mid-heavy, but it's good enough to where you're going to get that clarity and that crispness, especially that you're going to hear in rock music with drums and things like that, or jazz, classical, you know, just things where you really are trying to pay attention to detail. And the highs aren't screeching if you're going to listen to a podcast or just listen to singing or anything like that at a high volume, where you're going to be like, you know, my ears are like, it's kind of annoying how you can hear the scratching the voice when it's at a high volume. I did not experience that. But here's what I did experience. When it comes to turning these up, to get to the same level as Bose or Sony at 70%, I had to go 90 or 100 with these. There was no separation in volume from the headset versus a device I was using, in other words. Some headsets have that, which is weird. I noticed that on some Jabra headsets where or headphones where if you turn the volume up on the headphones, it's different from turning the volume up on your device. So that wasn't the issue either. It's just the sound quality of these drivers just do not get that loud. So that was kind of frustrating because the sound quality is great, but if you really want to get the most out of the volume, you're just not going to get it with these. So for me, my final verdict of these in this simple review is, do I think these are worth it for what I'm expecting most people to pay for if they don't go on sale forever? $349 for the design and the look, yes, and the functionality, yes. Sound quality, no. Comfortability, no, only because this is way too stiff. It just feels really solid compared to other headphones. So for me, I'm not going to buy a pair of headphones where I'm going to want to keep them long term if it has the functionality but it doesn't have the quality. I mean, it just was kind of annoying having to take these off every other hour or constantly adjusting them, just constantly trying to feel like, what can I do to get rid of the pinching on my head? It's just really annoying. And then also the fact that you have to listen to them at such a loud volume, especially if you're going to really try to block out noise. Now, don't get me wrong, sound quality is so good. These headphones make me love them and make me go like this at the same time. It's the best way I can put it, because the sound quality is just as good and is there like the 450 BTs. But if somebody asked me, would you rather go with these or the 450 BTs? Go with the 450 BTs, because you're just going to be impressed with the volume and the sound quality, and the ANC, because the volume is there, is going to be good enough to where you're still going to block out most ambient noise, where these may have better active noise canceling but crappier volume quality. So that's my take. I would say Sennheiser was so close with this, but I think they learned their lesson, and it's obvious that these are going on sale. So for these being worth it in 2020, I'm going to say no. Sorry, Sennheiser, but you guys are going to have to come out with a new edition quick. And I want to see some new colors too if you come out with the third version anytime soon. But you guys better get on it. Can't wait to see what comes out next. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.